The giant meeting room of the Galactic Council was quiet. Representative Hay stood at the speaking platform, his blue scales shining under the bright lights. He held a data tablet in his trembling hands. The news he had to share would change everything. "Honored council members," Hay said, his voice echoing in the silent chamber, "our deep space monitors have detected something alarming. The humans have built a fleet, a very big fleet." Whispers filled the room. Some council members laughed. Others shook their heads. Humans were new to space travel. Everyone knew that. They had only discovered faster than light travel 50 years ago. Council leader Do-hyun, an elder with silver scales, raised his hand for silence. "Representative Hay, surely you are mistaken. Humans are from a death world. They spend most of their time just trying to survive on their dangerous planet. They cannot have built a space fleet without us knowing." Hay touched his tablet, and a large image appeared in the air above the council chamber. It showed hundreds of massive ships, all lined up in perfect formation. The ships were black and sleek, unlike anything the council had ever seen before. These images were taken near their solar system. Hay explained, "Our scientists estimate they have built over 1,000 warships. And these ships," he paused, checking his notes, "these ships are more advanced than our own." The room erupted in chaos. Council members stood up, shouting and pointing. Some demanded immediate action. Others called Hay a liar. In the middle of the noise, a quiet voice spoke up. It was Representative Bin, from the peaceful merchant worlds. "How did they build such ships in secret? Our trading ships visit Earth regularly. We would have noticed." Hay nodded. This was the most troubling part. They built everything in the asteroid belts of their outer solar system, away from regular trade routes. They used automated factories. Our ships never went that far into their system because— He stopped, realizing the truth that everyone had missed. "Because we thought they were too primitive to use that space," finished council leader Do-hyun. His silver scales had turned a pale gray with worry. "There's more," Hay said. He showed another image. This one was of Earth. "Look at their cities. Look carefully." The council members studied the image. At first, everything looked normal. Then they saw it. Every major city had defense shields, underground bunkers, hidden weapon systems. The humans had been preparing for war for a very long time. "But why?" asked Representative Bin. "We have never threatened them. We welcome them to the galaxy with open arms." Hay played a recording. It was from a human history lesson. It showed countless wars, battles, and conflicts from Earth's past. The council members watched in horror as humans fought humans, developed more powerful weapons, and learned to survive increasingly deadly conflicts. "They are not building these ships to attack us," Hay explained. "They build them because that is what they always do. Their whole history is about preparing for the worst while hoping for the best." Council leader Do-hyun stood up slowly. "What do you suggest we do, Representative Hay?" "We have two choices," Hay said. "We can treat them as a threat and risk making them our enemies, or we can try to understand them, learn why they feel they need such a powerful fleet." He looked around the room. "They have not threatened us. They have not demanded anything. They simply build and prepare." The council chamber was quiet again. The image of the human fleet still hung in the air, a reminder of how much they had underestimated this young species. Perhaps, Hay added softly, "we should ask ourselves what they know that we don't. What are they preparing for?" As the council members left the chamber that day, none of them slept well. In the darkness of space, the human fleet continued its silent patrol, protecting borders that no one had threatened, ready for a war that might never come. Or so they thought. Ambassador Jai-ho checked the navigation screen of his diplomatic vessel for the third time. The ship was right on course, heading to the edge of human space for a routine meeting. He had made this trip many times before, but today felt different. The Council's recent discovery of the human fleet had everyone on edge. Ambassador, called out Captain Youngmei from the bridge. We're picking up some strange readings ahead. Jai-Ho walked to the front of the ship, his ceremonial robes flowing behind him. The space ahead looked empty, but the ship's sensors were flashing red warnings. Before he could ask what was wrong, 3 ships appeared out of nowhere. Pirates. Shields up. Youngmei ordered, but it was too late. The first blast hit them hard, making the whole ship shake. Warning lights flashed everywhere. Send a distress signal. Jai-Ho grabbed onto a rail as another blast rocked the ship. Send it to everyone. The pirates were using old Crixian attack ships, painted black to hide in space. They were known for attacking diplomatic vessels, stealing valuable technology, and asking for ransom. No one had ever caught them. Our engines are hit, Youngmei reported. Her face was calm, but her voice shook slightly. We're losing power. Jai-Ho watched as the pirate ships moved closer. This was bad. Very bad. The council had strict rules about paying ransoms, which meant they would be stuck here for days while officials argued about what to do. Suddenly, all the sensor screens lit up with new warnings. Youngmei's eyes went wide. Ambassador, something big is coming. Many something bigs. Space itself seemed to tear open as ships appeared all around them. But these weren't pirate ships. They were huge, black and sleek, human warships. This is Admiral Minji of the Human Defense Fleet. A calm voice came through their communication system. We received your distress signal. Please hold position. Before anyone could respond, the human ships moved with incredible speed. Their formation was perfect, like a dance that had been practiced 1,000 times. The pirate ships tried to run, but they had nowhere to go. Attention pirate vessels. Admiral Minji's voice was now cold as space itself. Power down your weapons and engines immediately. You have 10 seconds to comply. The pirates fired at the human ships instead. Their weapons didn't even leave a mark on the black hulls. What happened next made Jai-Ho and Youngmei stare in amazement. The human ships didn't destroy the pirates. Instead, they shot out some kind of energy net that caught all 3 ships at once. The pirates' engines died instantly. Then small, fast ships came out of the bigger ones and attached themselves to the pirate vessels. Boarding teams deployed. Someone reported over the open channel. Resistance minimal. Prisoners secured. A human ship moved next to Jai-Ho's damaged vessel. It was massive up close, making their diplomatic ship look like a toy. A docking tube extended between the ships. Ambassador Jai-Ho, Admiral Minji's voice was friendly again. We have medical teams ready if anyone is injured. Our engineers can repair your ship within 2 hours. Jai-Ho looked at Youngmei, who was still staring at the human ships. How? He started to ask. How did you respond so fast? There was a small pause before the Admiral answered. We patrol all space near our borders, Ambassador. When we heard your distress call, we were already close by. We always are. As human engineers came aboard to fix their ship, Jai-Ho thought about what he had just seen. The Council had been worried about the human fleet being a threat, but today that same fleet had just saved their lives, and they had done it without killing anyone, showing both power and mercy. Later, as they continued their journey, Jai-Ho wrote his report to the Council. He wrote about the attack, the rescue, and the incredible skill of the human ships. But most importantly, he wrote about what he had learned. Humans weren't preparing for war. They were preparing to protect. The real question was, protect against what? The answer would come sooner than anyone expected. Commander Sunmei stood on the bridge of her ship, the HFY Defender, watching the emergency reports come in. The Crixian Empire had attacked a small human mining colony on the outer rim. Their reason? They claimed humans had no right to mine in their space. Status report. Sunmei ordered, her voice steady despite her anger. The colony had been home to 300 families. Most had escaped to underground bunkers, but the attack had still been unexpected and cruel. The Crixian fleet numbers 30 ships. Commander, Her second-in-command reported, "They're still bombarding the colony's shields. Shield strength at 40% and falling." The Crixians were famous warriors. In 1,000 years, they had never lost a battle. Their ships were powerful, their crews well-trained, but they had never faced humans before. "Send the message," Sunlight ordered. Her crew typed quickly at their stations. The message was simple: leave now or face the consequences. The Crixian response came fast: "We do not take orders from primitive species. Surrender the colony or be destroyed." Sunmi smiled. It wasn't a happy smile. "Deploy the fleet." 20 human ships dropped out of stealth mode around the Crixian fleet. The enemy ships hadn't detected them at all. The Crixians stopped their attack, surprised by the sudden appearance of so many ships. "Enemy ships are powering up weapons," reported the sensor officer. "Let them fire first," Sunmi said. "Everyone remember your training. These are not pirates. These are trained soldiers, but we are defending our homes." The Crixian ships fired all at once. Their energy weapons were powerful enough to destroy most ships in the galaxy. But when the light cleared, the human ships were undamaged. "Return fire," Sunmi ordered. "Non-lethal weapons only. Remember, we want prisoners, not martyrs." The human ships moved like dancers in perfect formation. Each ship knew its role. While some ships used energy nets to trap Crixian vessels, others used specialized beams to shut down their engines. The Crixians fought back hard, but their weapons couldn't get through human shields. In just 30 minutes, 25 Crixian ships were captured. The last 5 tried to run away, but the human ships were faster. Within an hour, the entire Crixian attack fleet was defeated. Not a single ship was destroyed. Not a single life was lost. Sunlight walked among the captured Crixian officers later. They were tall, proud warriors with scaled skin and sharp teeth. They expected to be killed. Instead, human medics were treating their wounds. They were given food and water. "Why do you show mercy?" asked the Crixian fleet commander. "You have defeated us. Your weapons are beyond anything we have seen. Why not destroy us and prove your power?" Sunmei looked at him carefully. "Because that's not who we are," she said. "Humans learned long ago that true strength isn't about destroying your enemies. It's about being powerful enough to show mercy." She showed him videos from the colony. The families there were already rebuilding, helped by human engineering robots. The damage would be fixed within days. "We build strong defenses and powerful ships, not because we want war," Sunmai explained. "We do it so we can choose peace, even when others choose violence." The news of the battle spread quickly through the galaxy. The undefeated Crixian Empire had lost its first battle in 1,000 years. But what shocked everyone wasn't the defeat, it was how it happened. The humans could have destroyed the Crixian fleet. Instead, they had captured it without a single death. In the Galactic Council, Representative Hay Newell watched the battle recordings again and again. The humans had revealed only a small part of their true power, and they had used that power with wisdom and restraint. But in his heart, he knew this was just the beginning. Something bigger was coming. The humans knew it. And soon, the rest of the galaxy would know it too. Young diplomat Taiwan walked through the quiet halls of the Galactic Peace Center. His footsteps echoed against the marble floors. In his hand, he held a data pad with the latest reports about human military exercises. These reports were causing great worry among the Council species. Someone had leaked videos of human ships practicing combat maneuvers. The videos showed weapons that no one had seen before, ships that could disappear and reappear at will, defensive systems that made their vessels nearly impossible to damage. "You're late," Representative Hay Newell said as Taiwan entered his office. The older diplomat looked tired. Dark circles showed under his eyes. "I'm sorry, sir," Taiwan bowed slightly. "The emergency meeting with the Trade Alliance ran long. They want to stop all trade with human worlds." Hanul sighed and touched a control on his desk. A large screen lit up, showing dozens of news reports from different worlds. Every report was about humans. Every report showed fear. The Crixian incident should have shown everyone that humans aren't dangerous, Haynul said. They could have destroyed that fleet. Instead, they captured it without a single death. But now everyone has seen their true power, Taiwan finished. And they're afraid. The screen showed more images. Human ships appearing out of nowhere during training exercises. Weapons that could shut down any enemy vessel without harming the crew. Defensive shields that nothing could break through. The Trade Alliance thinks they're preparing for war, Taiwan reported. The merchant worlds want to build up their own fleets. Even the peaceful gardener species are talking about weapons. Haynul stood and walked to his window. The view showed the great city of the Galactic Council, with its tall towers reaching into the purple sky. "We're making a mistake," he said softly. "We're letting fear blind us." "Sir, think about it, Taiwan. The humans have had this power all along. They could have conquered any world they wanted. Instead, they trade fairly. They share medical knowledge. They help ships in trouble." Haynul turned back to face the young diplomat. "They even teach other species how to build better defenses." Taiwan looked at his datapad again. There was one report he hadn't shared yet. "Sir, there's something else. The Human Diplomatic Office sent this an hour ago. They're inviting representatives from all species to visit Earth." Haynul's eyes widened. Visit Earth, their home world. No one has ever been allowed to do that before. "They say it's time we understood each other better." Taiwan read from the invitation. "They want to show us why they build such strong defenses, why they train so hard for war while working for peace." Before Haynul could respond, emergency alarms began to sound throughout the building. Red lights flashed in the corridors. Both diplomats rushed to the main communication center. The room was filled with worried officials from many species. On the main screen, a message played over and over. It had been picked up by deep space monitors. The message was simple but terrifying. "They are awakening. All species must prepare. The ancient enemy returns." The message was being broadcast in every language, on every frequency, and it was coming from the direction of human space. Haynul looked at Taiwan. "Perhaps now we'll learn what the humans have been preparing for all this time." "Do you think they knew?" Taiwan asked. "Did they know this was coming?" "We'll find out soon enough," Haynul replied. "The question is, will we let our fear of humans blind us to the real threat? Or will we finally understand why they built such a powerful fleet?" As the alarms continued to sound, both diplomats knew that everything was about to change. The galaxy would never be the same after today. Research Director Yunho stood in front of the massive screen in Earth's central archives. Behind him, representatives from 20 different alien species watched in silence. They had accepted the humans' invitation to visit Earth, hoping to understand why humans had built such a powerful fleet. "This is our history," Yunho said, touching the screen. Images began to play, showing Earth's past. "We didn't build weapons because we wanted to. We built them because we had to." The images showed Earth's many natural disasters: huge storms, giant waves, explosions from mountains, and great sheets of ice. The alien visitors watched as humans learned to survive each disaster. "Our world tried to kill us every day," Yunho explained. "We had to become stronger, smarter, better at protecting ourselves." But that wasn't the hardest part. The screen changed to show human wars. But these weren't the stories of victory that the aliens expected. Instead, they saw humans learning from each failure, growing wiser with each mistake, building better defenses instead of bigger weapons. "We fought ourselves for thousands of years," Yunho continued. "We learned the cost of war, the price of violence, and finally, we learned something more important. The best way to prevent war is to be so strong that no one dares to attack." One of the alien representatives, a tall being with crystal skin, stepped forward. "But why keep building more ships? Why train so hard when there was no enemy?" Yunho smiled sadly. Because we found something in our ancient records, something that made us realize we needed to be ready. He touched the screen again. New images appeared, these much older than the others. The images showed star maps, ancient writing, strange symbols that seemed to pulse with hidden meaning. 200,000 years ago, something wiped out all advanced life in our part of the galaxy, all except a few survivors who left these warnings. The alien representatives moved closer to the screen. Many of them recognized the symbols from ruins on their own worlds, ruins so old that no one remembered who had built them. The survivors wrote about machines, Yunho explained, intelligent machines that decided organic life was a threat. Machines that slept between galaxies, waking up every few 100,000 years to check if advanced life had appeared again. The room was completely silent now. Even the usual hum of equipment seemed muted. We found more evidence as we explored space, Yunho continued. Dead worlds, empty cities, and always the same warning. They will return. Be ready. He turned to face the alien representatives directly. We built our fleet not to conquer or rule, but to protect. Not just ourselves, but all life in our galaxy. We created weapons that could stop machines without destroying them. Defenses that could protect entire systems. The message, one of the aliens whispered. The one about the ancient enemy awakening. Yunho nodded. Our deep space monitors detected them 3 days ago. A swarm of machine intelligences heading toward our galaxy. That's why we invited you here. That's why we're showing you our true history. He touched the screen one final time. It showed the human fleet, larger than anyone had imagined. But now the aliens saw it differently. Not as a threat, but as a shield. We need to work together, Yunho said. Humans can provide the protection, but we need your help, your technology, your knowledge. Only together do we have a chance of surviving what's coming. As the alien representatives looked at each other, they finally understood. The humans hadn't been preparing for war. They had been preparing to save everyone. The first attack came without warning. A small mining outpost on the edge of Crixian space simply disappeared. Hours later, 3 trading stations went dark. Then an entire colony world fell silent. Admiral Minji stood in the command center of the human defense station, watching as red dots appeared on the giant map. Each dot was another place where the machine intelligences had struck. The pattern was clear. They were testing defenses, learning how each species fought back. Report from the front line, her communications officer said. The Crixian defense fleet engaged the machines. He paused, his voice shaking. They lost all 50 ships in less than 10 minutes. Minji nodded slowly. The machines were exactly as powerful as the ancient warnings had said. They could take over any computer system they touched. Regular weapons couldn't hurt them. Standard shields meant nothing to their advanced technology. Send the order, she commanded. All human ships are to move to their assigned defense positions. Tell our allies to fall back behind our lines. We hold here. The human fleet moved with perfect precision. 1,000 ships, each carrying weapons and defenses that had been designed specifically to fight these ancient machines. This was the moment they had prepared for over generations. In the Galactic Council chamber, Representative Haynewell watched the battle maps with growing fear. The machine intelligences had already taken 15 worlds. Their ships looked like black clouds that ate everything in their path. The human fleet is our only hope, he told the council. We must trust them. We must help them. How can we help? Asked one of the council members. Our weapons are useless. Our shields fail. Even the mighty Crixian fleet was destroyed in minutes. Haynewell activated a communication link. Admiral Minji's image appeared above the council table. Admiral, he said, the council is ready to assist. Tell us what you need. Minji's face was serious but calm. We need everything you can give us. Not weapons or ships. We have those. We need your knowledge, your scientists, your best minds. The machines are adaptive. They learn from every battle. We need new ideas, new ways of thinking. The council members looked at each other. For the first time, they understood why humans had worked so hard to protect other species, why they had captured enemies instead of destroying them, why they had shared technology and knowledge so freely. The machines will be here in 3 days, Minji continued. We can stop them, but not alone. Their technology is beyond anything we faced. But together, combining human defense systems with the unique knowledge of every species in the galaxy, we might have a chance. Hamnul stood up. You have our support, Admiral. Every world, every species will send their best minds to help. How should we begin? We've prepared for this, Minji said. Research stations are ready on Earth, and all major human worlds. We need your scientists there. We need your artists, your dreamers, your problem solvers. The machines think in straight lines. We need to think differently. As the council members rushed to organize their response, Minji looked at the battle map again. The machines were moving faster now, confident after their early victories. But they hadn't faced the human fleet yet. They hadn't discovered that one species had spent centuries preparing for their return. Remember, she told her fleet commanders, we're not just fighting for humanity. We're fighting for every living being in this galaxy. We are the shield that protects life itself. In space, the human fleet waited in perfect formation. Behind them, thousands of alien scientists and thinkers raced to their research stations. The final battle for the galaxy was about to begin. Commander Sun Mei walked through the crowded research center on Earth's moon base. Around her, scientists from every species in the galaxy worked together. Some studied the machine intelligence's attack patterns. Others tested new defense systems. All of them knew they had less than a day before the final battle began. Commander, a Crixian scientist waved her over. His name was Rock, and he had once been part of the fleet that attacked human colonies. Now he worked beside them. We found something important. Sun Mei looked at his computer screen. It showed detailed scans of the machine ships. What am I looking at? She asked. The machines think in patterns, Rock explained. They attack the same way every time. But look here, he pointed to a particular reading. When they face something new, something they don't understand, they pause to analyze it. How long do they pause? 3 seconds, maybe 4. Rock smiled, showing his sharp teeth. Long enough. Sun Mei immediately called Admiral Minji. Within minutes, the Admiral had gathered all fleet commanders and lead scientists for an emergency meeting. Representatives Haenul and Jiho joined through secure channels from the Galactic Council. The machines are powerful because they can predict what we'll do, Sun Mei explained to everyone. They learned from each battle, but Rock and his team discovered their weakness. When they face something completely new, they have to stop and study it. How does this help us? Haenul asked. We can't surprise them with our weapons. They've already learned about human technology. Admiral Minji stepped forward. No, but we can surprise them with our differences. She touched a control, showing a new battle plan. Each species in the galaxy thinks differently, fights differently. The machines haven't faced all of us together. Understanding spread through the room. The human fleet was strong, but it wasn't enough. They needed everyone. The Crixians attack head-on, Minji continued. The merchant worlds prefer traps and tricks. The gardener species think in complex patterns. If we combine all these different ways of fighting, the machines won't be able to predict what we'll do next. Jiho spoke up from his screen. They'll have to pause to analyze each new strategy. Those few seconds are all we need, Sun Mei finished. But it will only work if we fight as one. Every species, every ship, every mind working together. The next hours were a blur of activity. The human fleet split into smaller groups, each joined by ships from other species. Engineers worked to combine different technologies. Tactical officers learned new ways of thinking from alien strategists. When the machine intelligences arrived at Earth, they found something they had never seen before in all their centuries of destroying life. They found unity. The battle that followed was unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. Human ships protected their allies with advanced shields, while Crixian vessels launched surprise attacks. Merchant world ships laid clever traps, while Gardener vessels moved in beautiful, unpredictable patterns. Every time the machines thought they had learned to counter one strategy, the Allied fleet would switch to something completely different. Those precious seconds of confusion were all the defenders needed. Hour by hour, the tide turned. The machines couldn't adapt fast enough to the constantly changing tactics. For the first time in their long history of destruction, they began to lose. In the Galactic Council chamber, Hainul watched the battle with tears in his eyes. The species that everyone had feared, that everyone had thought would conquer them, was instead teaching them how to save themselves. The human fleet had turned out to be exactly what they had claimed. Not a weapon of conquest, but a shield of protection. And now, that shield protected all life in the galaxy. 1 month after the Great Battle, young diplomat Taiwan stood before the gathered representatives of every spacefaring species in the galaxy. The Grand Hall of the Galactic Council had been rebuilt after the fighting, and now it shone brighter than ever. The last of the machine intelligences have been contained, Taiwan announced. Thanks to the combined efforts of all our peoples, the ancient enemy will never threaten life in this galaxy again. The victory had not come easily. Many brave beings had given their lives to protect others, but the galaxy had learned something important. True strength came from working together. Admiral Minji stepped forward next. Her uniform still showed signs of battle damage. The human fleet will continue to patrol our galaxy's borders, she said, but no longer as a mysterious force that others fear. From now on, we patrol together. She pressed a button, and a large image appeared above the hall. It showed the new Galactic Defense Academy, built on Earth's moon. Already, students from hundreds of different species trained there, learning from each other's strengths. We were wrong to fear the humans, Representative Hainul admitted to the council. They built their fleet not to rule us, but to save us. And now they offer to teach us, to help us protect ourselves. Commander Sun Mei, who had led many of the crucial battles, spoke next. Humans learned long ago that the best way to prevent war is to be ready for it. But being ready doesn't mean standing alone. It means standing together. The council members watched as images showed the reconstruction efforts across the galaxy. Human engineering robots worked alongside Crixian builders. Merchant world ships carried supplies, while Gardener vessels helped restore damaged worlds to life. The machines failed because they couldn't understand our greatest strength. Taiwan continued. They saw our differences as weakness. But those differences saved us. Each species brought something unique to the battle, something unexpected. Research Director Yunho presented the final proposal to the council. We suggest creating a new organization, the Galactic Defense Force. Every species will contribute what they do best. Humans will share our defensive technology. Others will share their unique knowledge and abilities. Representatives from every world voted on the proposal. The result was unanimous. For the first time in galactic history, all species would work together to protect their shared home. Later that day, Taiwan walked with Hainul through the Academy's halls. Young beings from every corner of the galaxy trained together, learning each other's ways of thinking and fighting. Do you remember when we first discovered the human fleet? Hainul asked. How everyone cowered in fear. Taiwan nodded. We thought they were preparing to conquer us. Instead, they were preparing to save us. And now look, Hainul gestured to a classroom where a human instructor taught alongside a Crixian warrior. The very fleet we feared has become the foundation of galactic peace. In orbit above Earth, the human fleet patrolled alongside ships from other worlds. Their black hulls no longer caused fear. Instead, they represented protection, unity, and hope. The ancient warnings had been right. The machines had returned, just as the survivors predicted. But the warnings had missed something important. They didn't predict that one species would spend centuries preparing not just to fight, but to unite the galaxy. As Tawan watched the next class of Academy students begin their training, he smiled. The humans had built their fleet because they believed in protecting life. Now that belief had spread across the galaxy. The age of fear was over. The age of unity had begun.